The day is finally done. The noise of the world is fading behind you, and there is nothing left that needs your attention. There are no emails to answer, no list to check, no problems to solve. This time is yours. Before we begin, take a moment to find your perfect stillness. Adjust your pillow until it supports you just right. Pull the covers up to your chin. Let your shoulders drop away from your ears. Unclench your jaw and feel the weight of your body sink deeper into the mattress. Tonight, we are going to escape to a place where time moves differently. We are going to the edge of the world, to a solitary lighthouse standing watch over a calm sea. It is a story of quiet satisfaction, of the warm glow of a lantern, the hypnotic polishing of brass, and the deep, steady breathing of the ocean. This story is interesting enough to hold your mind, keeping away the worries of tomorrow, but gentle enough to guide you slowly towards sleep. It is a routine of peace. So take a deep, slow breath. Let it out. Close your eyes. Let us go to the tower. Chapter 1. The slanted light of afternoon. The day does not begin with the sharp cry of a rooster or the urgent alarm of a city clock. Here, at the edge of the world, the day begins when the sun has already tired of the sky and begun its slow golden descent toward the western horizon. For Elias, the keeper of the grey rock light, 2 p.m. is the softest part of the morning. The bedroom is circular, shaped by the thick granite bones of the tower. It is a room that embraces you. Because the walls curve, there are no sharp corners for shadows to hide in, only a gentle, wrapping embrace of whitewashed stone. Elias wakes not to noise, but to the shift in the weight of the light. The heavy velvet curtains, drawn tight against the midday glare, glow with a warm, amber luminescence. They hold back the sun, filtering it into a sleepy, dusty haze that hangs suspended in the air. He lies there for a long time. This is the first essential task of the routine, the acknowledgement of stillness. Under the heavy wool quilt, the warmth is absolute. The sheets, softened by years of washing in salt water and air drying in the stiff breeze, feel like old flannel against his skin. He stretches, his toes finding the cool pocket of air at the bottom of the bed, and listens. The tower hums. It is a sound so low it is felt more than heard, a deep, resonant vibration of stone resisting the wind. Outside, the Atlantic is breathing. Hush, shh, hush, shh. It is the heartbeat of the house, a rhythm so constant that silence would be deafening. Elias throws back the covers. The air in the room is cool, carrying the faintest trace of lamp oil and old books. He steps onto the floorboards. They are wide planks of pine, worn smooth and concave in the center, from generations of feet stepping out of this same bed. They creak, a friendly wooden groaning that announces he is awake. He moves to the window and pulls back the curtain. The light spills in, thick, syrupy afternoon light. It catches the dust motes dancing in the air, turning them into floating specks of gold. Through the thick porthole glass, the world is a painting of blues and greys. The ocean is calm today, a sheet of hammered pewter stretching out to meet the pale sky. The waves are small, lazy things, rolling over themselves just to have something to do, collapsing against the rocks at the base of the tower with a sound like tearing silk. It is time for breakfast, though the rest of the world has finished lunch hours ago. Elias moves to the small kitchenette carved into the living quarters below the bedroom. The routine is a dance he could perform with his eyes closed. He fills the heavy iron kettle with water. The tap shudders before releasing a clear, cold stream. He places the kettle on the cast iron stove. Click, whoosh. The blue flame blooms, a perfect ring of fire. Now he waits. This waiting is not empty time. It is a time to observe. He watches the condensation form on the outside of the kettle. Small beads of water gathering, merging, and sliding down the metal flank. He watches the steam begin to rise, a ghostly ribbon twisting into the air, vanishing before it hits the ceiling beams. He prepares the meal, a thick slice of sourdough bread, toasted until it is the color of fallen leaves, and a generous layer of salted butter that melts into the craters of the crumb. A pot of oatmeal, bubbling slowly, spiced with a pinch of cinnamon that scents the air, making the salt air smell of the tower feel warmer, earthier. And the tea, Earl Grey. He measures the loose leaves into the ceramic pot. 1 scoop for him, 1 for the pot. The water boils, a rising crescendo of bubbling energy, and he pours it. The steam rushes up, warming his face. He places the lid on the pot and wraps it in a knitted cozy, a sphere of red wool. He takes his tray to the small wooden table by the lower window. Eating here is a meditation. He breaks the toast. The crust crunches. The inside is soft and yielding. He sips the tea, hot and tannic, washing away the last of the sleep. He looks out at the rocks below. A seal is sunning itself on a flat slab of granite, looking like a discarded velvet pillow. A pair of gulls drift past the window, riding the updraft, not flapping a single wing. They simply hang there, suspended in the air, watching him watch them. The shadows in the room are beginning to lengthen. The amber light of 2 p.m. is deepening into the rich ochre of 4 p.m. The brass clock on the wall ticks. Tick-tock, tick-tock. It measures moments, not hours. Elias finishes the last crumb of toast. He runs a finger over the smooth ceramic rim of his cup. The nourishment is done. The waking is done. The body is fueled, and the mind is quiet. He stands up, the chair scraping softly against the wood. He takes the dishes to the sink, washing them with slow circular motions, the warm, soapy water soothing his hands. He dries them and places them back on their shelf. Handles facing out, perfectly aligned. Now the lighthouse is calling. The lantern room, high above, awaits its daily grooming. The sun is dipping lower, and soon the tower must wake up completely. But for now, there is just the slow walk to the spiral stairs, the anticipation of the climb, and the peace of a job that begins only when the world prepares to sleep. Chapter 2: The Spiral and the Shine. The door to the stairwell is heavy oak, bound in iron straps that have rusted into a deep textured orange. Elias pulls it open. The hinges offer a low complaining groan that echoes upward, spiraling into the dark throat of the tower. Before him lies the ascent. 144 steps. He does not rush. In a lighthouse, there is no vertical sprinting. There is only the steady, rhythmic pendulum of the climb. He places his hand on the railing. The metal is cool, almost cold, sucking the warmth from his palm. It is smooth, polished by the grip of his own hand and the hands of the keepers who came before him. A tactile history of ascent. He takes the first step. Clang. The sound is distinct. Unlike the wooden floorboards of the bedroom, the stairs are cast iron. They possess a metallic resonance. Clang, clang, clang. It is a slow, industrial drumbeat. He falls into the trance of the spiral. The walls of the tower are brick here, painted a glossy white that reflects the dim light filtering down from above. As he climbs, he revolves around the central column. The world spins slowly in reverse. Around the 20th step, the air begins to change. The warmth of the kitchen is left behind, replaced by a crisper, thinner air that smells of stone and damp mortar. Around the 60th step, he passes a narrow slit of a window. He pauses. Through the thick glass, he sees the horizon again, but the angle has shifted. The sea is vaster now, the waves merely wrinkles on a great blue bedsheet. The seal he saw earlier is just a speck of charcoal on the rocks. He takes a breath, inhaling the coolness, and continues. 80, 81, 82. His breathing deepens, matching the rhythm of his boots. It is a good kind of exertion, a waking up of the muscles in the calves and thighs. The blood begins to pump, warming him from the inside out against the chill of the tower's shaft. Finally, the iron spiral widens. He reaches the service room. This is the antechamber to the light, the staging ground. It is a small, circular room directly beneath the lantern. Here, the floor is covered in linoleum, checkered black and white, spotless and gleaming. The walls are lined with cupboards made of teak. Elias walks to the designated cabinet. He opens it, the latch clicking satisfyingly. Inside, arranged with the precision of surgical instruments, are his tools. He selects a tin of brass polish. It is an old tin, dented on the side, with a faded label. When he twists the lid, the smell hits him. A sharp, pungent chemical scent that is oddly comforting. It is the smell of care. It is the smell of maintenance. He takes a soft cloth, a square of old cotton flannel that has been washed so many times it feels like liquid in his hands. He climbs the final short ladder, just 6 steep steps, and pushes up the trapdoor. He rises into the lantern room. The light here is blindingly magnificent. He is now inside the glass jewel at the top of the world. The sun, now sitting heavy and low in the western sky, fires its rays directly through the panes. The room is a greenhouse of light. It is warmer here, heated by the greenhouse effect of the glass. But Elias is not here for the view. He is here for the brass. The lens, the great glass heart of the tower, sits on a massive pedestal. Surrounding it is a network of brass fittings, railings, and handles. In the salt air of the ocean, brass wants to tarnish. It wants to turn dull and brown. Elias is the force that prevents this. He approaches the main railing that encircles the lens. He dips his cloth into the paste. He begins. He applies the polish in small, tight circles. The paste is gritty at first, a beige smear against the metal. He works it in. His hand moves in a steady rotation. Rub, rub, rub. He focuses entirely on a 3-inch section of the railing. The friction builds heat. He can feel the metal warming under his thumb. The sharp smell of the ammonia in the polish rises, mixing with the heat. The beige paste turns black as it lifts the oxidation from the metal. It looks messy, like he is ruining the finish. But Elias knows the truth. He takes a clean section of the cloth. Now comes the reveal. He wipes away the black residue. One long, firm stroke. Underneath, the brass sings. It flares into life, a deep liquid gold that catches the afternoon sun and throws it back with intensity. It is like uncovering buried treasure. He moves to the next 3 inches. Apply, rub, heat, wipe, reveal. The repetition is hypnotic. There is no past, no future, only this inch of metal. The sound of the cloth on the brass is a soft shh, shh, a rhythmic whispering. He moves around the circle of the lantern room, a slow orbit. As he works, the sun moves with him, sinking lower, turning the sky from blue to a bruised purple. The light in the lantern room changes from white gold to a deep, fiery orange. Elias finishes the last section of the railing. He stands back, wiping his hands on a rag. The railing is no longer just metal. It is a ribbon of fire, a continuous loop of golden light reflecting the setting sun. The physical labor has loosened his shoulders, and the visual symmetry of the polished brass settles his mind. Everything is clean, everything is ready, but the most important piece remains, the lens itself. He turns toward the center of the room, where the great glass hive waits for his touch. Chapter 3: The Crystal Hive and the Flame. Elias turns his back on the brass railing and faces the lens. In the center of the lantern room stands the Fresnel lens. It is a masterpiece of optics, a towering beehive made not of wax, but of glass and physics. It is shaped like a giant barrel, taller than Elias, composed of hundreds of individual glass prisms arranged in perfect concentric circles. From a distance, it looks like a single piece of crystal, but up close, here within the intimate quiet of the lantern room, Elias can see the intricate geometry. Each prism is angled to catch the light from the center and bend it, forcing the scattered rays into a single, piercing horizontal beam. It is a machine for disciplining light. He picks up a different cloth now. The brass rag is too coarse, too oily. For the lens, he uses a chamois, a piece of soft, cured leather that feels like velvet skin. He steps onto the small iron platform that elevates him to the middle of the lens. He leans in. The glass is cool, radiating a chill it has held onto since last winter. He breathes on a prism. A small cloud of fog appears on the glass, vanishing almost instantly. He begins to wipe. This is a delicate operation. He does not scrub. He glides. He follows the curve of the glass ribs. Swipe, lift, swipe, lift. He is hunting for dust. A single speck of dust, magnified by the prism, could create a shadow miles away at sea. Or worse, the heat of the lamp could bake the dust into the glass, scarring it. He moves around the barrel of the lens, treating each prism like a precious stone. The light in the room is failing now. The sun has dipped below the horizon line, leaving only a bruised purple bruise on the sky. The ocean has turned black, a void waiting to be illuminated. It is time to wake the mechanism. This lighthouse does not spin by electricity. It spins by gravity. It is a giant grandfather clock. Elias steps down from the platform and opens a panel in the pedestal. Inside, there is a heavy iron crank. He fits his hands around the handle. The metal is smooth and cold. He begins to wind. Click-clack, click-clack, click-clack. The sound is sharp and rhythmic. With every turn of the crank, a heavy weight on a steel cable is lifted higher inside the central column of the tower. He is storing energy. He winds for 5 minutes. His breath creates a soft rhythm against the mechanical clicking. Inhale, wind. Exhale, wind. The weight rises foot by foot until it hangs suspended near the lantern room floor, ready to pull the gears that will turn the lens through the night. He removes the handle and closes the panel. He releases the brake. There is a moment of hesitation, a mechanical sigh, and then movement. The giant glass barrel begins to rotate. It is silent, floating on a bed of mercury to reduce friction. It spins slowly, majestically, a constant, silent revolution. Now, the fire. Elias opens the small glass door to the inner chamber of the lens. Inside sits the lamp. It is a pressurized oil vapor lamp. He checks the mantle, a delicate mesh of fabric and ash that will hold the incandescence. It is intact. He strikes a match. The sound of the strike is loud in the quiet room. The sulfur flares, a brief yellow scratch against the blue twilight. He brings the flame to the preheater. Hiss. The fuel catches. A soft, rushing sound fills the lantern room, like the sound of a seashell held to the ear. The mantle glows, first a dull red, then a bright orange, and finally, as the pressure stabilizes, a blinding, brilliant white. Elias closes the lens door quickly to shield his eyes. He steps back. The magic happens instantly. The lens catches the small flame, multiplies it, bends it, and hurls it outward. A distinct solid beam of light cuts through the darkness. It strikes the glass of the lantern room, passes through, and stretches out over the black ocean. The beam rotates. It sweeps past Elias, momentarily illuminating the dust motes in the air, then swings out to sea, then back toward the land. Flash, darkness, flash, darkness. The lighthouse is awake. Elias stands for a moment, watching the rhythm he has created. The hissing of the lamp and the slow rotation of the great glass eye are the only companions he needs. The tower is doing its work. Chapter 4. The Ledger and the Static. Elias descends the short iron ladder, stepping backward down the 6 steep rungs. He leaves the blinding brilliance of the lantern room and enters the watchroom directly below. If the lantern room is the eye of the lighthouse, the watchroom is its brain. It is a smaller, intimate space, shaped like a drum. The ceiling here is low, made of painted tongue and groove timber. The roar of the wind is muffled here, reduced to a dull, comforting thrum against the thick brick walls. The lighting is different too. Up above, the light is piercing and white. Down here, it is warm and contained. Elias pulls the chain of the brass desk lamp. Click. A pool of green-shaded light spills onto the mahogany desk. The desk is built directly into the curve of the wall, a permanent fixture. Its surface is a map of history, scratched, stained with ink, and polished by the elbows of a dozen keepers before him. Elias sits in the high-backed wooden chair. It creaks, accepting his weight. He reaches for the logbook. It is a massive tome, bound in black canvas with leather corners. It is heavy, satisfyingly so. He opens it to the current date. The pages are thick, cream-coloured paper, ruled with faint blue lines. They smell of dry paper and archives. He uncaps his fountain pen. It is black ebonite with a gold nib. He checks the ink level, full. He rests his hand on the page, feeling the texture of the paper under his palm. He looks up at the instruments mounted on the wall. The barometer, the anemometer, the clock. He begins to write. Time, 18 hours. Wind, north-northwest, force 3. Visibility, good. Sea state, slight. The pen scratches against the paper. Scritch, scratch, scritch. It is the sound of thoughts becoming record. The wet black ink glistens for a moment under the lamp before sinking into the fibre of the page, drying to a permanent matte. He pauses and looks out the watchroom window. It is darker now. The beam from above sweeps past the window every 15 seconds. A rhythmic pulse of light that illuminates the dark water for a heartbeat, then vanishes. Sweep, dark, sweep, dark. In that brief flash, he sees a shape. Far out near the horizon, a single white light and a lower red light. A tanker moving south, heavy with cargo. It is miles away, a silent traveller in the night. Elias notes it in the log. Southbound vessel. 8 miles out. He is the witness. If he did not write it down, the ship would still pass, the wind would still blow. But here, in this book, the night is given order. He reaches out to the small wireless radio sitting on the shelf. It is a wooden box with a fabric speaker grill and a glowing amber dial. He turns the knob. Click. The tubes inside warm up. A soft static fills the room like the sound of rain on a tin roof. He turns the tuning dial slowly. The needle slides past, squeals and whistles until it finds a voice. It is the shipping forecast. The voice is deep, calm and utterly without urgency. It recites the names of the sea areas like a liturgy. Viking, North Utsire, South Utsire, Forties, Cromarty. Elias leans back in his chair, closing his eyes for a moment. The voice is a thread connecting him to every other sailor and keeper in the hemisphere. Forth, Tyne, Dogger, Fisher. Wind northerly 4 or 5, becoming variable 3 or 4. Showers, good. The words wash over him. He is not really listening for the data anymore. He is listening for the cadence. It is a lullaby of geography. He is safe inside the thick stone walls. The fire is lit above him. The book is open before him. The world is turning, and he is exactly where he is meant to be. He picks up the pen again, dipping the nib into the inkwell, just to watch the liquid bead on the metal tip, waiting for the next hour, the next sweep of the light, the next entry in the story of the night. Chapter 5. The Gallery and the Void. The logbook is closed. The radio hums quietly in the corner, a faithful mechanical companion. But before Elias can surrender to the night, he must taste the air. He stands up from the mahogany desk and walks to the heavy iron door on the seaward side of the watchroom. It is painted a deep glossy green. The handle is a brass lever, worn smooth as a river stone. He grips it. The metal is freezing. He turns the latch. Thunk, click. He pushes. The door resists, held back by the pressure of the wind outside. But he leans his shoulder into it, and it swings open. Immediately, the sound changes. The muffled thrum of the interior is replaced by the full symphonic roar of the Atlantic. It is not a noise. It is a presence. It rushes in, smelling of cold salt, wet stone, and deep dark water. Elias steps out onto the gallery. This is the narrow iron walkway that rings the top of the tower, suspended 100 feet above the crashing surf. He shuts the door behind him to keep the warmth inside, and suddenly he is alone with the night. He grips the railing. It is wet with mist. He leans forward, looking out. The world has vanished. There is no horizon, no line where the sea meets the sky. There is only the velvet darkness, vast and infinite. But then, flash. The great beam from the lantern room above sweeps over his head. It is a solid bar of white light, thick with mist. It cuts a path through the nothingness, revealing the churning water below for a split second. White foam sliding over black rocks, before plunging everything back into shadow. He counts the rhythm. 1, 2, 3, 4. Flash. The light swings out, touching the crests of the waves miles away, turning them into glistening ridges of mercury. 1, 2, 3, 4. Flash. Elias breathes in. He fills his lungs with the sharp, clean air. It is cold, bracingly so. A cold that wakes the skin but settles the spirit. It tastes of the deep ocean, of things ancient and unchanged. He looks up. Above the blinding rotation of the lighthouse beam, the sky is a scattered field of diamonds. The clouds have broken, and the stars are out. They are steady and still, watching the spinning light of the tower with indifferent patience. He walks the circumference of the gallery. His boots ring softly on the metal grating. Clang, step, clang, step. He checks the landward side. He sees the distant flickering lights of the sleeping village on the mainland, 10 miles away. Tiny pinpricks of yellow warmth. People are there, sleeping in soft beds under heavy quilts. Safe because he is here, awake. He feels a quiet, swelling pride. He's the sentry. He's the keeper of the flame. He returns to the seaward rail. The wind tugs at his wool sweater, but he feels warm inside, fueled by the tea and the toast and the satisfaction of the polished brass. He closes his eyes and listens. He listens to the crash of the waves at the base of the tower. Boom, hiss, the water striking the granite, shattering and sliding back. It is the heartbeat of the earth. He stays there for 5 minutes, drinking in the solitude. He is a speck on a stone needle in a vast, watery wilderness, yet he has never felt more secure. The tower is solid beneath his feet. The light is turning above his head. The routine is holding. He opens his eyes. He takes one last look at the dark water, nodding to it as if to an old friend. "Good night," he whispers. The wind snatches the word away instantly. He turns back to the iron door. He pushes it open, slips inside, and heaves it shut. Thud. The roar is cut off instantly. The silence of the watchroom rushes back in, warm and still, and smelling of old paper and lamp oil. He locks the latch. He's inside again. The world is outside. It is time to rest. Chapter 6. The Anchor and the Pillow. Elias leaves the watchroom, the heavy green door clicking shut behind him. He stands at the top of the spiral stairs for one last moment, looking down into the well of the tower. The descent is easy. Gravity is a gentle hand on his shoulder now, guiding him down. He glides down the iron steps, his hand trailing lightly on the rail. Clang, clang, clang. The sound is softer now, less urgent. With every full rotation of the spiral, he leaves the sky behind and moves closer to the earth. He passes the service room with its smell of polish. He passes the narrow window where the moon is trying to look in. He descends into the warmth. He reaches the living quarters. The kitchen is quiet. The fire in the stove has burned down to a bed of glowing red embers, pulsing softly like a breathing lung. The room holds the heat of the day, trapped in the stone walls, radiating a dry, toasted warmth that wraps around him immediately. Elias moves to the small table and picks up his teacup. It is empty, a relic of the afternoon. He rinses it in the sink, the water sounding loud in the stillness. He places it on the rack. The day is washed away. He walks into the circular bedroom. The room has been waiting for him. The velvet curtains he opened hours ago are now drawn tight again, shutting out the vastness of the sea. The lamp by the bed casts a small golden pool of light, just enough to see the texture of the quilt. The ritual of rest begins. He sits on the edge of the bed. The mattress gives way with a soft sigh. He bends down and unlaces his boots. Loosen. Pull. Loosen. Pull. He slides his feet out. The relief is instant. His feet touch the cool wood of the floor, grounding him. He stands and removes the heavy wool sweater. The air of the room touches his skin, cool but not cold. He changes into his soft cotton sleeping shirt, the fabric worn thin and familiar. He extinguishes the lamp. Click. Darkness fills the room. but it is not absolute. There is a rhythm to the dark. Every 15 seconds, the great beam from the lantern room high above sweeps past the tower. It doesn't shine directly in, but it casts a faint moving glow that travels across the curve of the wall. Sweep and fade. Sweep and fade. It is a lullaby of light. Elias pulls back the heavy wool quilt and slides into bed. The sheets are crisp and cool, smelling faintly of lavender and sea salt. He stretches his legs out, his toes seeking the bottom of the bed. He pulls the covers up to his chin, creating a cocoon of warmth. The weight of the blankets is a physical comfort, pressing him down into the mattress. He lies on his back, staring up at the darkened ceiling beams. He listens. The sounds of the lighthouse are different now. They are not the sounds of work. They are the sounds of rest. The wind outside is a distant muffled song. The waves crashing on the rocks below are a rhythmic whooshing, whooshish, whoosh. Above him, he can feel the rotation of the lens. A low, vibrational thrum travels down through the stone spine of the tower. It is the heartbeat of his home. The light is turning. The gears are meshing. The oil is burning. He does not need to worry. The machine is awake so that he can sleep. His breathing slows. Inhale, matching the swell of the wave. Exhale, matching the crash of the foam. His eyelids grow heavy, weighted down by the golden light of the afternoon, the shine of the brass, the cold of the gallery air. The muscles in his shoulders release their tension. His hands uncurl. He thinks of the ships out there in the dark. They see his light. They are safe. He has done his duty. The log is written. The brass is bright. The course is true. The thoughts become slippery, drifting away like mist. The sweep of the light on the wall slows down in his mind. The room feels like a ship, gently rocking in a calm harbour. Elias lets go. He sinks down, 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 into the deep, warm, velvet ocean of sleep.